Some crushed leaves on the floor set the scene while this angry noble dude goes off on his son, Akawinis. Pops is losing it, calling the poor guy a total disappointment. He's like, yeah, my firstborn's an embarrassment. The man even admits he only kept Akawin around to marry him off for political clout. Apparently, every member of their super fancy family is born with broken level powers, except this guy. And what's our hero's big ability? Wait for it. Leaf muncher. Yup, bro can literally eat plants. That's it. His dad's like, everyone else got cool powers but my son out here chewing grass. The man even blames Akawin's mom for having common blood. Before Akawin can even talk back, boom, the wall behind him explodes. Guess who caused it? His own dad. Dude really said, family meeting, but make it fatal. Papa Power Trip keeps yelling about how the Guinness clan has royal responsibilities and how they're about to climb the political ladder. Then he hits Akawin with the final blow. You're useless, get out. When Akawin steps outside, his half-brothers Jill and Will are already there, waiting like two villains who practice their insults in the mirror. They tell him he's officially dead to the family and they'll fake his death in some accident. Jill calls him trash. Will says they're actually being nice by letting him live as a servant. What sweethearts. They roast his leaf muncher skill like it's open mic night. Jill's cracking up, saying he's only good for making people laugh. Will's like, don't bother worrying about his feelings. He's dying soon anyway. Akawin just stands there, clutching his tiny travel bag, while they mock his weak mana like gym bros comparing biceps. Jill even tells him to go eat some grass, since that's all he's good for. Then the gate's close behind him, and boom, he's officially banished. The guards shove him away like trash day's over. Outside the Guinness territory, there's nothing but wasteland and monster-filled forest. Pretty much a death sentence. But plot twist, Akawin isn't crying. Nah, man looks weirdly chill, maybe even happy. Turns out he's actually a reincarnated guy from another world. Being born as a noble sounded cool until he realized it was just endless lessons, sword drills, and no freedom. Basically, a lifetime of no fun allowed. He did everything to please his family, and they still dumped him the second they found out about his useless skill. But now, he's free. No fake smiles, no pressure, just vibes and survival. He tells himself he'll reach the next town and start over. Except, of course, life has other plans. A few days later, rain's pouring non-stop, and Akawin's out here starving, soaked, and questioning all his life choices. He quickly realizes surviving isn't some easy side quest. So far, he's lucky no monster spotted him. Food's almost gone, so he starts eating plants. Thankfully, that leaf muncher skill works. Most taste like straight-up dirt, but at least they give tiny boosts to his stamina and mana. Not completely useless, huh? While he's busy chewing leaves like a lost goat, he hears a sound. Then out steps a girl with a long ponytail and a hoodie way too big for her. She's crying, which immediately sets off the something's SUS alarm. Akawin, being the classic soft MC, rushes over to help. She whispers, I'm hungry, and suddenly a massive plant monster appears behind her. Bro's brain short circuits. Turns out she is the monster. She mocks him, calling him dumb for dropping his weapon just to help. You're too soft, she laughs. Die and become my meal. Akawin, completely calm, fires back. Who's the real idiot here? You didn't even check my skill. She laughs harder, sends vines to wrap him up like a burrito. But our guy stays chill. Eating me won't be that easy, he says, and bites the vines. Like actually bites them. The girl freezes in shock while he's casually chewing her limbs. A message pops up confirming his stats just skyrocketed. He even gets 2 new skills, absorption and swiftness. He grins, realizing he's basically leveling up mid-battle. The girl panics, realizing her prey just turned predator. She tries to squeeze him tighter, but Akawin rips the vines apart like it's paper. He lands on the ground, gripping the remaining vines with his cold, confident look, basically saying, yeah, who's lunch now? And that's how our boy Akawin went from family embarrassment to leaf-eating powerhouse in one meal. Bro's leaf muncher skill kicked in again, and boom, he unlocked another perk called Valor, all thanks to that wild absorption power-up. The plant girl just stood there, frozen like her brain blue-screened. Akawin grabbed her by the arm, yanked her down, and she face-planted right into the dirt. He walked up slowly, all calm but scary as hell, and said, all right, snack time. She freaked out, crawling backward until she hit a tree, eyes wide like, wait, I'm sorry. Akawin powered up his fist, yelling that in the human world, Trusting a monster's sob story is rule number one stupidity. He was about to swing when she screamed that she still had someone inside her. Some poor demi-human she hadn't finished digesting yet. Akawin froze mid-punch. Great. Now he couldn't just smash her. He told her to spit the person out, fast. The girl pouted but obeyed, clearly sad about losing her first meal. Her massive plant body then barfed out a gorgeous girl with elf ears sharp enough to cut paper. Akawin blinked, so she'd been snacking on an elf. Plant girl admitted it was true, whining that elf mana was so dense she couldn't finish digesting her. As she talked, her huge plant form faded away, revealing her smaller, humanish one. She hissed at him not to get any ideas and claimed she wasn't fighting anymore. Akawin was like, yeah, sure, totally believe you, clearly thinking she was just a monster pretending to be a cute girl. But then she shouted her name, Run. She puffed up and declared she was a great spirit, not some random weed monster, and that ugly big form wasn't even a real body. Akawin smirked, amazed he'd actually managed to eat her earlier. Rin sulked, saying it really hurt. He told her it wasn't his fault. His leaf muncher skill only works on plants, so technically, she kinda outed herself. Ren went red, flustered, insisting she's a great spirit and that this tiny form is her true one. Akawin ignored her ego trip and asked her to help carry the elf girl back to his camp. Just then, the elf girl started waking up, completely naked, by the way, with only Akawin's jacket over her. She sat up, all confused, asking who they were. Meanwhile, cut back to the Guinness family dinner table. Akawin's dad and his lovely sons are feasting like nothing happened. Will wonders out loud where Akawin might have died, saying the forest's probably full of monsters that had him for lunch. Jill laughs that with Akawin's weak gear, he probably didn't even make it to town. They bet he's out there eating weeds, or already monster food. Their dad joins in, totally casual, saying the forest beside their land is known for elves. Will scoffs, calling it a fairy tale, but Dad insists elves are real and that the family's been tasked with connecting with them. Apparently, elves haven't been seen for a century, but they've got magic and artifacts way beyond human tech. The last guy who made friends with elves 300 years ago? Straight up national hero. Jill drools at the thought of how beautiful elves supposedly are, while Will dreams about the treasure they might have. Their dad tells them to chill and focus on becoming strong rulers. But yeah, if they ever did find elves, the Guinness name would blow up big time. Back in the forest, Akawin checks if the elf girl's okay and asks her name. She just stares, still traumatized from almost becoming lunch. He offers her a hand and tells her to rest at his camp. She hesitates, then takes his hand and softly asks if he really saved her again. Akawin's like, what do you mean again? The elf says she's been waiting and searching for him for centuries to finally fulfill a promise they made 300 years ago. Our guy's brain short circuits. 300 years? Girl, what? But right now, all he cares about is making sure she's okay. Then she suddenly remembers the monster attack and tries to stand, but his jacket slips, revealing, well, everything. Akawin panics, yelling, wait, don't move. She looks down, realizes she's naked, blushes hard, and faints instantly. Akawin facepalms, shouting for Run to help. He lets the elf rest in his camp, wishing he had some smelling salts. He digs through his bag for spare clothes while Rin munches his rations like it's snack time. He tells her to stop eating his stuff. She's a plant. She can literally live on sunlight. Rin crosses her arms, proudly saying she's a great spirit who prefers meat. Thank you very much. She also complains that Akawin ruined her chance to eat her first prey. Akawin asks why she's even still following him. Rin shrugs, saying, might be fun. He's like, fun? You try to eat me. She fires back that he's just as bad since he technically ate her, too. That reminds Akawin. He got insane XP from that one bite. Rin immediately looks nervous, asking if he's planning to eat her again. Before he can answer, a soft groan comes from behind him. The elf girl's awake, watching them bicker. Akawin turns and asks if she's feeling better. She apologizes for causing trouble, and he waves it off, blaming Run as usual. He offers her spare clothes, but before she can accept, Rin pulls a full outfit out of thin air. The elf gasps. It's the same set she had before being eaten. Rin shrugs, saying she couldn't digest them, so she just kept them. The elf heads off to change, and Akawin eyes Rin suspiciously. Wait, did you just pull that out of your stomach? She grins and says it's her magic storage. Akawin's jaw drops, since that's high-level magic. Rin beams, proud of the compliment, reminding him, again, that she's a great spirit. That gives Akawin an idea. If she could use magic storage, maybe he could too, since she technically shared her powers with him when he bit her. He raises his hand, and boom, a tiny pocket space appears. Rin's jaw drops, now pouting like a jealous kid. Akawin starts stuffing his things into the new storage, completely hyped about his upgraded skill set. Just then, the elf girl returns, fully dressed. She bows slightly, apologizing for the earlier oops moment, and introduces herself as Solace. She thanks them both for saving her. Akawin finally gets a good look at her, and yep, the legends didn't lie. Elves are drop-dead gorgeous. Rin folds her arms, sulking that her first prey turned out to be one of them. And just like that, our guy who got tossed out for being a useless leaf chewer now has a spirit sidekick, an elf companion, and a skill tree that's going crazy. Bro's cooking. Solace's jaw dropped when she found out Rin wasn't just some random weed monster, but an actual great spirit. She explained that elves and great spirits were like magical BFFs. Elves borrow power from spirits to cast spells, and in return, they protect and care for them. That made Aki realize Rin had gone a little too far earlier. Rin crossed her arms, embarrassed but still salty, and told Solace that if feeding great spirits was really the elf's job, then she should just let Rin absorb her as payback. Solace just smiled and said even the strongest spirit would rot away before managing to digest an elf. That line made Aki's brain click. Plants can die if they get too much fertilizer. So basically, elves were too powerful to eat. Solace added that if things had gone on any longer, she wouldn't have survived. She thanked Aki again for saving her life. Aki properly introduced himself and Rin, saying it was just luck that he helped her. Solace smiled and invited him to visit her village. Aki blinked. Wait, the elf village? She nodded. As they traveled, Aki couldn't stop thinking about how elves were supposed to be just myth from old history books. And now he was literally walking beside one. Not just that, she was inviting him home. He soon learned his family's ancestors had saved the elves about 300 years ago. He was stunned. How did Solace even know he was related? Solace explained that elves never forget their debts. They've been told stories about Aki's ancestors since they were kids, and even kept their portraits around. Rin's eyes sparkled, already daydreaming about the reward. Aki shot her down immediately. She wasn't getting anything. He added that he didn't deserve a reward either, since he might just look like his ancestor. When they reached the elf village, the place looked straight out of a fairy tale, quiet, peaceful, and built right into the trees. The houses blended perfectly with nature. The elf queen, Shilla, came forward and thanked Aki for saving her daughter. Aki got all flustered, saying it wasn't a big deal. He still couldn't believe Solace was an actual princess. But Shilla looked a bit uneasy, saying it felt wrong to owe another debt when they still hadn't fully repaid the promise from 300 years ago. She wondered how they'd ever balance it out. Rin smirked proudly like she was the reason for all this, but Aki reminded her that she'd caused the whole mess and told her to apologize. Right then, another elf entered, Solace's sister Need. She asked their mother if this random human was really the one, and hinted that maybe there was some kind of mix-up. Shilla told her to show some respect. This was their first human guest in 3 centuries. Need just grunted and looked away like a moody teen. Then Shilla lifted her hand, and glowing magic circles appeared around her. Aki recognized it as super high-tier storage magic. Within seconds, the entire room filled with gold coins and sparkling treasures. Aki and Rin both stood there, eyes popping out. Shilla smiled and said this was just a small token of gratitude, and all of it belonged to him. Aki panicked, saying he couldn't possibly accept it. Need immediately jumped in, accusing him of being greedy, asking if he wanted even more. Solace scolded her for being rude. Need argued that the same great spirit who attacked Solace earlier was now standing right next to Aki. How could they trust him? Solace reminded her that their ancient covenant was absolute and that Aki and Rin wouldn't have been able to pass the village's barrier if their intentions weren't pure. That's when Aki realized. So that's why no one ever found this village before. Curious, he asked what this covenant really was. Shilla explained that it was a sacred pact made between Aki's ancestor and theirs, something stronger than life itself. Aki was shocked. Need said humans probably wouldn't understand, but it was holy to them. She said the covenant was built on the trust of spirits themselves. Shilla raised her hand, and tiny fairies appeared in the air, sparkling like fireflies. She explained that elves draw their strength from the earth, and their bond with the elemental spirits. If that bond ever broke, their entire race would crumble. Aki pieced it together quickly. Breaking the covenant meant losing their magic, their power, and basically their life source. Need looked impressed that a human figured it out that fast. Sheila sighed, saying they'd be in an awkward position if he refused their gratitude. Aki said again that he hadn't done anything special. Anyone would have helped someone in danger. But deep down, he couldn't stop wondering what exactly happened 300 years ago. Sheila walked over to a tall window and told him to look outside. There stood a gigantic tree, the World Tree. She said it was the root of all spirits, and by extension, the source of life for the elves. But now, the great tree was withering. If it died, the spirits and elves would die too. Sheila showed him a small bottle, a magic potion that had once saved the tree. That potion, created by his ancestor, had kept them alive. But now, their supply was almost gone. She said if the potion ever ran out, the World Tree would start dying again, and with it, every elf in the forest. Aki went silent. He remembered from stories that the World Tree produced mana, feeding the spirits who, in turn, gave life to the elves. Without the potion, everything would collapse. Then something clicked in his head. He pulled out his magic storage bag and started digging through it. The elves watched, confused, as he pulled out the same bottle of potion. Everyone gasped. How did a random human have it? Aki scratched his head and said it was just a coincidence. He didn't mention that when he was kicked out of his house, he'd packed a bunch of random plant-related stuff because of his leaf muncher skill. The potion turned out to be fertilizer from his world, something the elves had never seen before. Need asked what he planned to do with it. Aki handed it to her, saying they needed it more than he ever would. Need blushed, taking it quietly. Then, out of nowhere, Sheila ran forward and hugged him tight, like facing her chest tight, crying tears of joy. She said she couldn't believe that right when one debt was repaid, another blessing appeared. She told Aki to name any reward he wanted. Need panicked, warning her mom that Aki might take advantage of that offer, while Solace turned red from embarrassment. Aki quickly asked the only thing that mattered. Would the World Tree really recover if they used his potion? So apparently, Sheila drops this 300-year-old bombshell. Turns out, they've been keeping that massive World Tree alive all this time, using some magic-boosted potion. Girls like, anyway, what do you want in return? Solace and Adito are just standing there awkwardly while Aki goes, can I eat one of the tree's leaves? Skull the elves look at him like he just asked to chew on their grandma. Meanwhile, our girl Rin, she's straight up passed out on top of the treasure pile, having the best nap of her life while the rest talk serious politics. Cut to the Guinness territory. Aki's dad's just chilling when, boom, Lord Javel himself shows up at his doorstep. That's like your boss's boss pulling up for tea. Dude says he's the Minister of Internal Affairs, and it's his duty to check on the Guinness area. Totally not suspicious at all. Aki's dad's like, okay. And what's that supposed to mean? Javel goes on this whole rant about how there's no war going on. So all the nobles are now busy stabbing each other metaphorically. Peace makes people nosy. Basically, Aki's dad agrees, saying some Cheval guy is winning that sneaky war. But then Javel's like, even I'm not safe, bro, politics is a jungle. He explains that the Guinness land is now prime real estate because, surprise, surprise, it's home to something big. Aki's dad's confused until Javel goes, don't play dumb. I'm talking about elves. Everyone freezes, Dad, kids eavesdropping from behind the wall like eyes. Then Javel drops lore. Apparently, elves show up once every few centuries, bringing money, magic upgrades, and general chaos. Most people think they're fairy tales, but no, they're straight up written in royal history books. And guess what? He knows Aki's dad has already been snooping around. Javel says they found a weird magical barrier near the forest, discovered by Lady Hina, that scary perfectionist knight who runs the Second Night Order. He's like, look bro, anything in your land is technically yours, but maybe think national level here. Basically, be cool and we can all get rich. He even dangles political promotions like candy. You help the elves, boom, central government gig, easy money, high rank done. Oh, and the icing on the cake? My daughter's single, your son's single. Just saying. Man's trying to set up a royal Tinder match right there. Aki's dad is just standing there malfunctioning while his sons are in the back whispering, yo, what if we did find the elves first? Willem and Jill are already daydreaming about getting rich and lazy. They don't even care if big bro Aki dies. As long as they bag some elves, they're good skull. Meanwhile, back at Elf HQ, Nandito's losing it, calling humans greedy trash who just won the world tree. Solace tries to defend Aki, saying, "Relax, he just asked for one leaf." Nandito's still mad, thinking he's plotting something sus. Shilla's curious though, like, "Okay, but why though? What's he gonna do, make tea?" Aki hesitates. He doesn't want to expose his plant eater ability. You don't just go around flexing your weird skills, you know? But then Run, still half asleep, blurts out, "He eats stuff to get stronger. He even ate me once." Skull, the elves go scarlet because that sounded all kind of wrong. Rin doubles down, saying, "It was my first time being eaten. He forced himself on me. It hurt." Bro, you could hear Aki's soul leave his body. Needless to say, Nandito attacks him on the spot while Aki's screaming, "Wait, it's a misunderstanding." He yells at Rin for phrasing it like a scandal, and Rin claps back, "I didn't eat Solace. I just chewed her a little." Now everyone's brain is permanently scarred. Nandito's fuming about their holy barrier failing because some pervy human managed to walk in. Finally, Aki explains everything properly, and Shilla's like, "Oh, that's actually kind of dope." Nandito's still grumbling, but Aki reminds her it's his weird power that saved them in the first place. Solace agrees, says Aki's not all bad. He's just weird. Shilla decides to introduce him to the elves as a hero. And right when things calm down, boom, collision, and explosion rocks the village. The kids outside freeze mid-play. Nandito runs out and sees this creepy, dark aura creeping closer. She's like, what in the demonic Pokemon is that? Aki's like, "What's happening?" But she's as clueless as he is. Even Rin gets serious, saying something massive just woke up. Aki's surprised she can feel it, but Rin puffs her chest like, "Of course, I'm a great spirit, duh." Aki ignores her flex and focuses, remembering how he once used her plant magic vision. He closes his eyes, tunes in, and suddenly sees the forest through spirit vision. Dude literally goes, "Yo, I can see everything." Rin's jaw drops. Shilla's like, "No way, a human connecting with spirits?" And Aki casually goes, "Yeah, I can use powers of what I eat." Rin's entire ego disintegrates. Meanwhile, Nandito's realizing his ability is basically cheat code level. Aki looks deeper, sees many monsters sprinting away from something huge. Then out stomps this massive bear demon-looking thing, roaring like it just respawned in rage mode. Nandito's like, "Strong how strong," and Aki's like, "Demonic beast level strong." But before it even attacks, thing gets cut clean in half. The elves gasp as their barrier suddenly shatters. They think the beast did it, but Aki's like, "Nope, someone else did." And standing over the monster's corpse, a badass female knight, sword still glowing. Aki just sighs. The elves panic, wondering if she's the one who broke their barrier. Aki explains it was just an accidental shockwave from her attack. And yeah, it was strong enough to wreck their magic wall. Nandito can't believe someone that powerful's just chilling near their village. Solace thinks she must be an ally since she killed the monster, but Aki's like, not exactly. Judging from her look, she's definitely a knight, and probably trouble. Cross-sword, there was only one reason a knight would be wandering around that cursed forest, and yeah, it wasn't for sightseeing. Right then, Shilla pulls out this glowy magic juice and starts flexing her powers. She spreads it all over like she's watering a houseplant on steroids, saying, "We're in emergency mode now. Gotta count on our best bet." The potion seeps through the world tree, and suddenly the thing starts looking fresh, green, and full of that just gotta makeover energy. Even Rin's jaw drops. Aki finally gets it. That boring fertilizer he gave them was secretly cracked when mixed with Shilla's magic. Then a single leaf drifts down, all dramatic-like, and Aki's like, "Oh, that's the good stuff." Shilla tells him to take that world tree leaf, along with a bunch of super rare herbs that have holy energy. She even apologizes for begging earlier, and this time politely asks him to help. Aki grabs the plants and instantly feels power buzzing through him. He eats a few and already feels like he just leveled up 10 times. He's standing there thinking, "Bro, what if I just eat all of these?" Meanwhile, deep in the forest, our girl commander Hina, the literal sword queen, just sliced a massive demon bear clean in half like she's speedrunning boss fights. Blood's everywhere, and she's standing there like, another day, another monster deleted. One of her knights, Marwell, shows up out of breath like, "Commander, you good?" I felt a scary aura. Then he spots the dead Gristle and freezes like his Wi-Fi cut out. Everyone's just staring in awe because this beast was supposed to be a group project, and Hina soloed it in one hit. But Hina's already looking off into the distance with that, I sense more drama face. She tells Marwell she's got other business to handle and dips, leaving him with a mess. Dude barely gets a wait, what? Out before she's gone like a ghost. Inside, though, she's panicking hard. She knows she overdid it and accidentally nuked some kind of barrier. She's like, oh no, I so broke something important. She realizes she might have just messed with something magical and decides she better hurry to explain before it turns into a full misunderstanding. Back at the village, Aki and Ren both sense this crazy, strong energy zooming straight toward them. Guys, Aki says something big's coming and fast. Nadito's freaking out like, you mean the same thing that one-shot the demon bear? Aki nods, trying to sound calm, even though he's also sweating bullets. Nadito's done waiting and just shoves a fistful of herbs into Aki's mouth like, eat now, ask later. He's mid-chew going, is this even safe? And the elves yell, too late. Instantly, his body lights up like a magic nuke. Boom, his stats go nuts. The system's basically spamming achievements in his head. You've gained spirit blessings. New stat, wisdom unlocked. His powers shoot through the roof thanks to his plant eater skill. The elf can literally feel how strong he's gotten. Ren's proud like, that's my boy, but then freezes when she hears the system say Aki can now form a contract with a great spirit, and it's her. She floats up, presses her forehead against his super anime moment, and the system dings. Bond complete. Suddenly, Aki unlocks a new skill called Spirit Cloak. But before he can even process that, Ren starts going transparent like she's glitching out. Next thing he knows, poof, she's turned into a tiny glowing fairy sitting on his shoulder, smug as ever, looking like she just unlocked her final form.